arrested in Mamprobi Polyclinic baby theft case. We take you live to the Dansoman Divisional Police Command where details of the thefts unfold. Also this afternoon, President Mahama dismisses removal petitions as Chief Justice finds no case against EC boss Jane Mensah and her two deputies and Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejabenu. Later on, traders at the Mamponte market in the Kwabre East municipality of the Ashanti region protest to demand resumption of work on an abandoned market project. Details of this and more in the next 30 minutes. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin now. And some residents of Mamprobi have clashed with the police at the Mamprobi Polyclinic after a woman who allegedly stole a baby at the facility was arrested this morning. The middle-aged woman was captured in a widely circulated CCTV footage exiting the facility with the baby fully wrapped in a shawl. According to reports, the woman, who posed as a nurse, fled with the baby under the guise of going to administer an injection. The incident is said to have occurred on the 16th of February, 2 days after the baby was delivered through a cesarean section. Though relieved, the mother of the baby appeared visibly shaking after she was reunited with her baby. The suspect is currently in custody at the Dansoman police station. The Gender Minister Agnes Namumulate, MP for Ablikuma South Alfredo Kovandapoy, together with the Regional Police Command, are meeting staff of the facility on best ways to curtail potential incident while calming tempers at the Mamprobi Polyclinic. We'll connect shortly with our reporter George Quainin, but before that, let's bring you that altercation between the police and the community.
What happened?
Right, and so the latest is that the woman in the center of that alleged baby theft has been arrested by the Dansoman Police Command, and she is currently in police custody. We know that the mother of the baby, though relieved, appeared visibly shaking after she was reunited with her baby, and the suspect, like I said, is currently in custody at the Dansoman Police Station. Gender Minister Agnes Namumulate, Member of Parliament for Ablikuma South Alfredo Kovandapoy, together with the Regional Police Command, are meeting staff of the facility on best ways to curtail potential incidents while calming tempers at the Mamprobi Polyclinic. Let's connect with my colleague George Quainin now and talk to him. George, can you hear me?
To ensure that the systems...
Right, we're working the phone to quickly connect with my colleague George Quainin. When we do, we'll bring you the latest on that. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. But the Gender Minister has also been speaking about the incident. Let's listen to her now.
For the purposes of those who just joined us, we've had some briefing, we've exchanged, notes on what happened. And then the most important thing is that we are going to support the polyclinic or the health facility to redeem its image, because I was speaking and somebody attested, not just what I was saying, attested to the fact that this is a very good hospital. She was born here, and she knows that the care for mothers and children here is one that is the best in the country. And so we need the media to support this health facility to redeem that image. And then we are also going to work with the Ministry of Health to ensure that the system.
So, Gender Minister Agnes Na Mumulate there. Let's now connect with George Quaining, who is speaking with our sister station TV3.
Of the stolen baby.
No, you are thinking about noise here. So tell me, what?
We're working the phone to quickly connect to George Quaining, but the uncle of the baby has also been speaking. He says they want a DNA test to ascertain whether that is the correct baby that has been returned to them. Let's listen also to the uncle of the baby.
No, you are thinking about noise here. So tell me, what are your concerns? You want to see me as at this moment, the baby is ours, but still I want a DNA done. Yeah, to confirm what they are giving it is not another man's child. Okay. Yeah. So who are you? Me. I am the elder brother to the husband. So a DNA test. So you are not really sure about it. Yeah. Because we will do all those things. But now I'm not assured of what is going on. So we need to conduct a DNA test that proves that the kid is ours. Do you understand? You can't just go and bring any kid at all and tell us, this is it, we find him, take him, go home. What if in the next 10 years we want to travel with the kid and things are not matching? So we need to consult a DNA test. That's it.
So you've been listening to uncle of the baby that was stolen and has been returned to the family. The uncle says they want to be sure it is the correct baby, their blood that has been returned to them, and so they are calling for a forensic audit or a DNA test for the baby so that they are able to ascertain whether it is the right baby that has been returned to them. This is the midday news on 3FM 92.7. We are working the phone to connect with our colleague George Quaining, who is following the case, as well as Amshon Gold Alagba, who is also at the Dansuman Police Command. We know the police is holding a presser to give us details on how it's unfolded and how they were able to apprehend the woman who took the baby and has later been arrested or returned to the parent. While at it, let's move on and do some other stories. When we are able to connect with them, we'll bring you that subsequently. Well, we can talk to George Quaining now. He's engaged in our sister station, TV3.
Esther has been here. The MP for the Jojo has also been here. They engaged the staff here, gave them assurance that everything will be okay. But as you can see, police visibility is quite high here, and it has to actually mar any potential violence that is supposed to take place. The residents actually, we know, are very furious about whatever is taking place as it stands. So police visibility is quite high, very high. So if I can see that's the woman going right there, the woman whose son was actually stolen, and I don't know what exactly it is, but that's her with relatives. I don't know what exactly they're doing, but this is the current situation as it stands now. The gender minister has assured staff here that they will ensure that this very place redeems its reputation, because this place is quite noted for good maternal health, and so this very issue is just an unfortunate one, and it's quite unfortunate that it really happened. And also they'll support this very premises with all the logistics they're required to make sure they redeem their reputation. But some residents that we also spoke to before the baby was retrieved could not really sleep. It was quite a solemn mood for them, and actually they've spent some time with the mother, and so it was more like them putting themselves in the shoes of the woman, how it actually felt like you're missing your child 24 hours after delivery. So the baby was actually born on Valentine's Day and was stolen somewhere on Tuesday, and the woman actually has been apprehended, and she's at the Dansuman police station, and the baby has been retrieved, and the baby is right here where the mother has been, reunited with the mother, and they're actually going through some medical examinations. And any update on that very investigations will actually update you live. But if you're also watching wherever you are, we are active on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana. Engage us with your concerns and opinions. Surely we read them and share them to the rest of the world. We also spoke to the uncle of the child, that's Frank Davies, and he says even though the baby has been retrieved, they expect a DNA test to be conducted on the baby. So any circumstances of maybe that
there with the latest on the...
Well, so you have been listening to George Quayne, my colleague, bringing us updates from the Mamprobi Polyclinic. Let's connect with Joseph Armstrong Gold Alagbe. Armstrong, we know you are at the Dansoman Police Station. Talk to us what you can report.
So, Grace, currently at the Dansoman Police Station, where the alleged baby theft lady is being kept, the Dansoman Police Station command is come to brief the media on the way forward, and then the real story behind the story we currently know. So we are waiting patiently to hear from the Dansoman Divisional Police Command. Earlier, we have the Gender Minister and also that of the MP for the area, Reverend Kukwadu, all coming into the scene, and also family members of the mother whose baby was stolen, but thankfully now has been retrieved and given back to her, all coming to the police, all demanding to get a whim of the woman who allegedly stole their baby so they can deal with him. But the police has done a professional job by keeping the said woman in custody, and we are not sure whether they're going to bring her for us to have a look at her and also speak to her whether or not what pushed her to steal this baby. So we are going to keep our eye on this development, and I'm sure in the next few minutes the Divisional Command will be speaking to the media.
Armstrong, at the Mamprobi Polyclinic, the place is inundated with residents. Everybody wants to see what's happening. Is it the same thing at the police station?
So earlier in the morning at the Dansoman Police Station, where some family members came to the place to demand the release of the said woman. Currently, the place is calm because the police environment is well cutting off, where you will not be granted access if you have no business in there. We've seen people out there. We are not sure whether they are waiting for the said woman to be brought outside so they can all now come in to take a look of this woman. So I'm sure when the press conference starts, we'll be able to know whether these people are here purposely because of this issue or they're here for other matters. Great.
All right, Armstrong, thank you for the update. Joseph Armstrong Gold Alagbe. He has pitched camp at the Dansoman Police Station waiting for that police presser that will give us detail into that alleged baby theft and all that you and I need to know. We'll definitely bring it to you when that presser begins. But let's move away from that and do other stories now, because the Chief Justice Bafuboni has determined that petitions seeking the removal of Electoral Commission Chairperson Jane Mensah, her two deputies and Special Prosecutor Grace Agyemang do not meet the legal requirement for further action. The decision was announced in a statement issued today by Presidential Spokesperson and Minister for Government Communications Felix Kwakye-Fosu on behalf of President John Dramani Mahama. In total, the president received 10 petitions last year calling for the removal of these officials. 7 of the petitions targeted Jane Mensah and her deputies, Dr. Bosman, Erika Sare, and Samuel Tate. 3 others called for the removal of Grace Agyemang, the special prosecutor. As required by law, the president referred the petitions to the Chief Justice in November 2025 to determine whether they had enough merit to proceed. After reviewing them, the Chief Justice concluded that the complaints did not establish a prima facie case, meaning there was not enough basis to trigger a formal investigation. Under Ghana's constitution, such a finding is required before a committee can be set up to examine allegations of misconduct or incompetence. With that threshold not met, the removal process ends at this stage. The ruling means the Electoral Commission leadership and the Special Prosecutor remain in office. Let's stay a while longer on this. Christian Mam Hesse is a private legal practitioner. He's joining us for a conversation. Counsel, what exactly constitutes a prima facie case and Articles 146, and how high is that threshold in practical legal terms?
All right. Good afternoon, Grace, and to listeners alike. So basically, when we say prima facie, in simple terms, and by decided authorities, it means that on the glance of the face, it's a Latin word, on the glance of the face of a petition or application or the process before a quasi-judicial body or a judicial body, that particular process should speak for itself, so that it will not require fervent interrogation to try and know what that seeks to exact. basically what I'm saying is that on the face of it, gleaning or glancing through it, whoever is the officer doing that particular work should be able to establish and say that, oh, this application or this petition, this is what it seeks to say. It has grounded itself for the third removal. If on the face of it, it cannot be said, it cannot be concluded, there cannot be a culpable conclusion to say that indeed what the petition is seeking to convey is established on the face of it, then we say that it has missed that particular legal threshold.
Right.
And by that, the prima facie has not been established.
So, Counsel, this determination by the Chief Justice, does it closely or completely close the matter, or fresh petitions can be filed if new evidence emerges?
I mean, it doesn't close it. If they believe that there is some other act or actions or omissions that the third persons might have done, they are at liberty in law to petition. So, but as far as this particular one is concerned, the matter is exhausted.
And so if new evidence is found, that we can open, or there can be new petitions?
Yes, I mean, if they have any other, I get where you are. Whether the same matter that is vexed could be gone into twice, that would be double jeopardy. But as to whether they would want to contest that one too is a matter of law. But as far as the determination under Article 146 is concerned, where the Chief Justice acting under Article 146 2 and then 4, this is the conclusion of it.
Right.
If they could not, on the face of it, prove that indeed what they are alleging it can be adduced on the face of it, and that the matter fails.
Right, Counsel. So before I let you go, does this ruling, in your view, strengthen institutional stability, or could it deepen public debate about transparency in high-level removal proceedings?
Oh, I mean, it shows the rule of law, because Article 146 speaks the fact that, I mean, when the president receives such petition, he has to refer it to the Chief Justice when it deals with a superior court judge. And by the Constitution, such persons qualify in that range. That is why it went to the Chief Justice to determine on the face of it. And by the exercise of that, in the absence of any breach of rule of law, it shows transparency, it shows the strength of institutions.
Right, Counsel, thank you for your time this afternoon. Christian Malmhesi, private legal practitioner there. Let's just stay with the court, and the High Court has adjourned proceedings in the case of former Deputy National Service Authority boss Gift Tiowari versus the Republic after a dispute over an application for stay of proceedings. The defense has appealed to the Court of Appeal following an earlier High Court's ruling dismissing a request to refer to the Supreme Court a dispute over disclosure of defense witnesses under the 2018 Criminal Trial Practice Directions. Pending that appeal, the applicant asked the High Court to halt the trial. The Republic filed an affidavit in opposition after the stay application was filed. But the defense told the court today that they had not been served. Justice Audrey Kosivite ordered the prosecution to serve the affidavit and has adjourned the case to March 9, 2026 for hearing on the stay application. The Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni, says delivering justice at the district level is key to restoring public trust and deepening the rule of law across the country. He stated during the commissioning of new court facilities in 2 districts of the Eastern region. There's more in this report.
For years, inadequate judiciary facilities have strained judiciary staff and security services, affecting justice delivery on the Ekuapem Ridge Enclave in the Eastern region. With the inauguration of a new district court at Okre and both a district court and a high court at access to justice is now expected to be more convenient for residents. The Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni noted that District Court formed the foundation of the justice system, providing prompt, fair, and efficient adjudication of cases.
District courts are the foundation of our justice system. They are the courts closest to the people. They resolve the disputes that most directly affect daily life: family matters, land disputes, minor criminal cases, contractual disagreements, and community conflicts.
He also charged magistrates to administer justice with integrity and fairness.
To the magistrate who will serve here, I charge you to administer justice with integrity, patience, and courage. You will be the face of the judiciary in this district. Let your courtroom be a place where fairness prevails and where the dignity of every person is respected.
Eastern Region Minister Grace Hammoah Agyemang pledged government commitment to retooling and strengthening the judiciary service to ensure the effective execution of its constitutional mandates.
Government therefore remains committed to the retooling and strengthening of the judicial service as well as other state institutions to ensure the effective execution of their functions as by law established.
The court's projects were funded through the District Assembly's Common Fund.
Yvonne Niko's report there. Let's go to the Ashanti region because traders at the Mamponte market in the Kwabre East municipality of the Ashanti region have staged a protest to demand resumption of work on an abandoned market project. The aggrieved traders say they have been forced to conduct business directly under high-tension electricity cables, exposing them to daily health and safety risk. Ibrahim Abubakar, a man in the Ashanti region, joins us. Ibrahim, what is the current state of the market?
Well, currently I can tell you that the facility has been left at the mercy of the weather because this is a facility that work began somewhere in 2012, but then it halted just few months after the work started. So you can imagine for 14 years, the structure has been abandoned and left at the mercy of the weather. And currently, you realize that parts of the facility have deteriorated and even fallen apart. And for traders who were displaced to make way for the project to start, are currently operating, like you said, under unsafe conditions, including beneath high-tension power lines, which they say put their lives at constant risk. So they are just hoping that government will intervene as soon as possible to be able to complete the work. We do know that somewhere last year, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyemang, inspected the site and assured the traders that the project will be completed. However, there has not been any visible project as no contractors returned to the site. So now they are just proposing that if government is not ready to complete the market project for them, government should grant them permission to also source for funds somewhere and be able to complete so that they will go ahead and occupy it. Let's listen to what some of the traders have been saying.
Yes, some companies where they are studying the tunanum. I'm why 1 year free sour haimu. So what mean you free sour haimu dia? On the army am ya kwa boso, ni akwa kwatrem. Ya kwaje be wodwamua. Kankana wo ya tiasie. Wo ya tempransa. Abati bia bu on ma abati na ya bi ya ponko. Kankana ni afie ba na. Wo ya ati awia. Ati ani ejane. Eti edi anyame di siramu ya pamo. Yes, some companies where they are studying the tunanum. I'm why 1 year free sour haimu. So what mean you free sour haimu dia? On the army am ya kwa boso, ni akwa kwatrem. Ya kwaje be wodwamua. Kankana wo ya tiasie. Wo ya tempransa. Abati bia bu on ma abati na ya bi ya ponko. Kankana ni afie ba na. Wo ya ati awia. Ati ani ejane. Eti edi anyame di siramu ya pamo chaw. Se ade sirade ane se.
Well, some traders there at the Mamponte market in Kwabre. So, Ibrahim, have you received any response from authorities on this plea by the market women?
Well, the Kwabri East Municipal Assembly says it's putting in effort to be able to get some funds and be able to complete the project. Mind you, this project was awarded at initial cost of 8.8 million Ghana cedis. By 2017, the cost had risen to 20 million. Currently, the Assembly needs 62 million Ghana cedis to be able to complete. But it is saying that even as part of the 24-hour market project, it has written to the local government ministry to allow it to use its funds of the 24-hour market share to be able to redesign and complete the project for the traders to be able to use.
Ibrahim, thank you for those updates. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar bringing us updates on that protest by some market women in the Mamponte market in the Ashanti region, demanding resumption of work on an abandoned market project. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. Let's go to the quarters of the NDC, because the NDC in the Futu constituency has called for an immediate transfer of the district director of the EC, and they have given the chairperson of the Electoral Commission a 14-day ultimatum to act. The Futu NDC claims they cannot trust the EC officials there in any future election over what they describe as continuous supervision of electoral misconduct. Here is Secretary of the Futu NDC, Abraham Henry Arthur.
We demand the following expeditiously from the Mrs. Jen Mensah-led Electoral Commission. 1. Immediate transfer of the Electoral District Officer of the Electoral Commission and her assignees. 2. A full investigations into the conduct of the MPP primary organized in the Futu and the publication of the findings. 3. Temporary suspension of all electoral activities under the supervision of the Electoral Commission until confidence is restored in the discharge of their duties. Mrs. Jen Mensah, to, as a matter of urgency, within 14 days, transfer the district electoral officer and their cronies from the Electoral Commission. Failure to do so, we will advise ourselves to use all democratic process to ensure that we move them out of this vicinity.
That was Secretary of the Futu NDC, Abraham Henry Arthur. Talking about the NDC, its National Secretariat has written a letter to Mr. Umar Sanda. He is contesting as an independent candidate in the Ayawaso East constituency by-election. The party says the NDC has taken note of your decision to contest as an independent candidate in the upcoming Ayawaso East constituency by-election scheduled for 3rd March this year. This action is in direct contravention of the party's constitution and the collective decision of the party to field a duly and democratically elected candidate. By virtue of your decision to break ranks with the party and contest against a candidate, you have, in accordance with the provisions of the party's constitution, automatically forfeited your membership of the party with immediate effect. You're hereby formally notified that you are prohibited from using the party's name, logo, colors, insignia, symbols, or any other intellectual property or paraphernalia associated with the party in the course of your campaign or any related political activity. Please be guided accordingly. Signed by Fifi Fiavikwete, General Secretary of the NDC. And so that is it coming from the NDC. Let's go to Parliament now. The anti-LGBT bill has been laid before Parliament for consideration and passage to criminalize same-sex marriages and related matters in the country. The legislation seeking to lift current restrictions in the Constitution on dual citizenship has also been laid for consideration. Christian Yali has more in this report.
This bill has been wrapped in controversies ever since it was introduced from the 8th Parliament and then in the last sitting of the 9th Parliament when it was once advertised and taken off the order paper. Last week, the Speaker of Parliament gave a ruling and a communication on it in which he indicated that after careful consideration, the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, which is also known as the Anti-LGBTQ Bill, satisfies all constitutional needs and does has not imposed any charges on the Consolidated Fund, and so it must be laid again before the House. Today, that bill has been laid and referred to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee with support from leadership of the Human Rights Committee.
It is the expectation of the sponsors, which is bipartisan. It is a bipartisan private members bill which must be on record. And the expectation is that within this meeting, this Honorable House and all relevant committees will attach alacrity to this bill to pass it with urgency, as a matter of urgency.
The Majority Leader Hammoah Agyemang indicated that the bill must be tackled bipartisanly to ensure it is passed as soon as possible.
If we want to go partisan on this bill, it will be a problem. So it is important from the beginning that the bipartisanship is reflected at every stage.
You had some members of parliament there on the floor talking about the relaying of the anti-LGBTQ bill, and that will be aired for the media news on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. We have business coming up shortly. Don't go away.
And welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, Ghana signals economic recovery with 10 billion cedis domestic debt exchange program interest payment. Also, advocacy group Natural Resources Justice warns oil well failed to secure Ghana's social safety net.
Most of the time, we do not put in monitoring measures to be able to monitor. And even in terms of the decision, we do not aggregate the data or the allocation in the sense of how many women we want to impact or how many women has a project impacted.
And much later, debt decay amid water and power cuts plunge the Commander Sugar Factory into darkness.
The factory has been disconnected from the national grid and water supply by Ghana Water Company Limited due to unpaid bills. Added to the poor state of the equipment, the facility has accumulated significant debts.
I am Enyunam Haliga, bringing you details of these and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now to our first story. In a move signaling a steady turnaround for Ghana's economy, the government has announced a successful payment of 10 billion cedis in interest obligations under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. The Ministry of Finance, in a press statement released today, February 18, 2026, confirmed that the payment marks the 6th coupon since the program's inception in the late 2022. Notably, it's the second consecutive time the government has fulfilled its obligation entirely in cash. There's more in the following report.
Government's full cash settlement covers all CD-denominated coupon obligations under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program in line with the restructuring memorandum and the broader debt management framework. In the statement, government described the payment as timely, noting that it reinforces investor confidence and is expected to support Ghana's credit outlook. Government has reaffirmed its commitment to meeting all future obligations under the program, citing the strong financial buffers and improving macroeconomic indicators. Falling inflation, declining interest rate, and a stable cedi are among the key factors underpinning that confidence. The full cash payment is being viewed as further evidence of growing fiscal discipline and the effectiveness of Ghana's debt restructuring efforts. Officials believe honoring obligations without alternative arrangement will boost market sentiment, attract new investment, and lay a stronger foundation for sustainable economic growth. Financial analysts say the development also enhances stability across the financial sector, particularly for banks and pension funds with significant exposure to domestic debt instruments.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report on government announcing 10 billion cedis DDEP interest payment. Now, the head of policy and programs at the Integrated Social Development Center, Bernard Anaba, has raised concerns about the inconsistent impact of Ghana's oil revenues on essential social services. He acknowledged that while petroleum wealth remains a cornerstone of the nation's budget, it has yet to translate into steady improvement for the country's most vulnerable citizens. The workshop brought together civil society actors, community leaders, and policy experts to scrutinize how the country's oil revenues are being allocated to support vulnerable groups. The critical gathering focused on the vital intersection of natural resource wealth and social equity. Industry watchers were of the view that the allocation of the annual budget's funding amount often lacks the necessary precision to tackle social inequalities. Head of Policy and Programs at ISODEC and Coordinator of Resource Justice Network, Bernard Anaba, argued for a more deliberate approach towards inclusive natural resource governance.
We look at the annual budget funding amount, the oil funds, to see how that has been applied and the impact on the marginalized groups, communities that are often overlooked in terms of when we are making decisions on natural resources. Most of the time, we do not put in monitoring measures to be able to monitor. And even in terms of the decision, we do not aggregate the data or the allocation in the sense of how many women we want to impact, or how many women has a project impacted, how many youth has a project impacted, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in education, whichever sector that we're applying these funds.
A policy analyst at the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Rosalind Maupemo-Fiagbe, noted the financial benefits of Ghana's extractive sector will continue to concentrate at the top unless government adopts a more deliberate focus on gender and social inclusion.
It has to be intentional when it comes to policy issues. It has to be inclusive enough to cover women mostly, because historically these traditional structures have affected most of these women in the mining communities, where they are excluded in decision making, and also some of the benefits that the society is supposed to benefit, some of these women are excluded. So they have to be intentional with JC so that the extractive sector that is technical or male dominated has to be structured in a way that every framework in this extractive sector has to benefit women, the youth, and persons with disabilities.
While the mining, oil, and gas sectors contribute significantly to the national treasury, the trickle-down effect of marginalized population, particularly women, youth, and persons with disability, remains dangerously thin. Now to some other stories. Serious technical faults, mounting debt, and supply chain breakdown have prevented the Commander Sugar Factory from operating at full capacity as the government moves to attract a strategic investor to revive the facility. Now, to compound the challenges, the factory has been cut off from the national electricity grid.
The Commander Sugar Factory continues to face major operational setbacks a decade after its commissioning. Answering questions in Parliament, the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Tufusu-Ijari, confirmed the situation.
Technical and operational deficiencies have prevented the factory from running at full capacity. The machinery and equipment of the factory have not been refurbished since construction in 2016. Equipment, generators, and motors need maintenance, and boiler top hull needs replacement to bring the factory back to life.
The challenges are compounded by infrastructure disconnections.
The factory has been disconnected from the national grid by Electricity Company of Ghana and water supply by Ghana Water Company Limited due to unpaid bills. Added to the poor state of the equipment, the facility has accumulated significant debts. Further, operationalization of the factory has also been hindered by lack of raw materials. The farming community, which was expected to anchor the raw material supply, remains disengaged.
The supervising ministry says it has prioritized the engagement of a transaction advisor to restructure and package the factory in order to attract a strategic investor.
That was a report on debt decay amid water and power cuts plunging the Commander Sugar Factory into darkness. That brings us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyuna Malika. Stay tuned.